Hi, this is Ducky from Ducky's Sheep Shack, here to show you how to skirt a fleece and get it ready for a sale. So here we have a fleece that's been unrolled, and we want to look at it through the eyes of a buyer. If we're getting this ready for a sale, what will they see when they look in the bag of fleece? And what I see here is a little scary. It's got a lot of vegetable matter in this fleece. And this is enough that it might make a buyer walk away. And since it's large pieces of hay and wood chips, if you do just a little extra work and shake it out outside on a windy day, you may end up getting most of this out. So I think this fleece is worth doing a little extra work on. And there are a few things you have to do with every fleece. Most fleeces are probably not going to have this much vegetable matter or require that particular job to be done. But if an unskirted fleece will have bits that you have to pull off. There's always something that has to go with a sheep. Starting with britch fiber. So usually your shearer will create a pile of belly and britch wool that is probably not usable. Sometimes the belly's usable, sometimes it's not. But there's always some that's not. And these are the real short fibers. Sometimes it's just coarse fibers. And they're really not that usable. So you want to pull those off. You're going to have a discard pile. And then you want to look at, usually around the edges of the fleece is where you're going to find the messiest bits. And this has been a particularly naughty sheep, so there is a lot. We have mud. We have and sometimes mud will often wash out, and high lanolin areas will often wash out. But this is really crusty, and I think as a buyer, if I saw this, it would just make me go, I'm not that into this. So I believe in heavily skirting, and I would pull this off. It might be usable wool, but it's just going to take a little more work. I think without that in the picture, you see this beautiful fiber. If this is in the picture, it's not as enticing. So we're going to pull off mud tags, and tags is just a polite word for poop. You don't want that. You want to get the mud. Anything that looks like it's going to take a lot of work. Buyers expect there to be some hay, some vegetable matter. We know there's going to be some mud, and there's going to be some high lanolin areas. So here we have, this is not mud, this is just lanolin, which is basically grease, and it probably will wash out no problem. But I personally would pull this piece off, and here we have some other high lanolin areas that look a little muddy. These I would leave, and these I would pull off. But this is at your discretion, and people have varying degrees for what they look for and what they don't want to see. So it's really, up to you. I'm just saying what I like to see as a buyer is I don't like to see this, but I'm okay with this. This is lovely. And I'm really excited about this fleece. When I first saw it, I was not excited, but now, the more I look, I see that what seemed like a fleece I wouldn't even take free is one, like if someone did a little work on, I would pay for. So one of the first things you want to do is you're going to lay out your fleece with the cut side down. So that's the part that was at the skin of the sheep down. So all the debris is on top, and you're going to pull off the worst of it. Nobody expects perfection, and most of you won't have fleeces this dirty. You just want to, if there's a stick or a big leaf or big chunks of hay, I would pull them off. If you have a big problem fleece like this, I would try shaking it on a windy day, and here you'd be surprised what you can get out from shaking. So here I have a chunk of fleece here, and I'm just gonna pick up, and if you really give it a good shake, you would be amazed at how much comes out. Oh my God, this was a very naughty sheep. So there's some sticks here. So once you get as much of the vegetable matter as you're willing to get out, you don't want to put a lot of hours into it. Just give it some good shakes. make it look nice. And hopefully, I mean, your fleece isn't probably not going to be this dirty to begin with. So once you've kind of picked through and made sure there's no burrs or thorns, hopefully, and the big chunks of vegetable matter, you're going to flip your fleece over so you can see the cut side. And then we're going to look for, so here I have a piece of this fleece just flipped over here. We're going to look for second cuts. And that second cuts are just exactly what it is. It's just when a shearer had to cut an area twice. So sometimes that leaves these little nubs of fiber that if they get spun into yarn will probably make pilly yarn. And it's just, you don't have to get all the second cuts off. People know that there are going to be occasional ones. You just want to look and see if there's a big chunk of them, like maybe you had an especially squirmy sheep at one point. So if there's a big chunk, you want to pull that off. And it's, you know, good to know how your shearer does. So this is a good indication of maybe you had a new shearer, or maybe it was just a squirmy sheep, or it was both. But if you have a lot of second cuts, that can be an issue. So pull off what you see, and then once you have that done, you know, the worst of the vegetable matter out, all the tags out, and then you've inspected the belly wool, and you either toss it, or if you determine it's good, you will plop the belly wool in the middle of your fleece. Then you're going to fold the edges. So let's say this is my entire fleece, and this is the head side. You would fold it, the sides in, and roll it up. And place it in a bag. And before you do that, before you put it in a bag, you want to pull off a few sample pieces of fiber. So here I have a ruler, and I'm going to see how long. Ooh, look at that, 6 inches. That's lovely. So this the sheep tended to have about, you know, a little more than half of it was the 6-inch long, and then a little less than half of it was actually a 4.5-inch staple. So what you want to do is note that, and I like to make an identification card. So here we have, where I wrote the sheep's name, the breed, the staple length, and then the weight. What you can do is weigh it by putting it in you want to use clear plastic bag for sale so people can see through it, and you can use a suitcase scale and hang it on the hook of a suitcase scale and get the weight. Then you want to make sure you put your price and the name of your farm, and you want to put this with your lock samples. You could staple it to it in the bag. And sometimes I like to actually do a little wash ahead of time. So you might take a lock and wash it. And you can just put it in some hot water, or some hot water with some dish soap. You know, don't agitate it so it doesn't felt. And you could see before I washed this, I really did not know that it had such a nice luster. And you could, if you want to go the extra mile, twist yourself a little mini skein so people, and that you can really see the luster in that. So if you put these things with your identification card in the bag and you have your nicely skirted fleece, I would buy this one. Seeing all of this and not seeing the debris that was left behind. So in that way, you know, hopefully you'll get your fleeces ready for the sale, and I look forward to seeing a lot of fleeces because I'm ready to shop. So what you want to do is make sure it's in a plastic bag. Make sure you have the yucky bits out, put it in a plastic bag with your identification, and keep it out of direct sunlight, and don't seal the bag. You want to make sure that the fibers can breathe. There is moisture content naturally in it, and you don't want that to build up. Keep it away from a heater, keep it out of sunlight, and bring it to the sale. I can't wait to shop. Thanks.